Howdy and namaste everyone. My name is Parth Sahani and welcome to the Karma Yogi podcast, where we discuss how to attract extraordinary success and become a better version of ourselves every day. The COVID 19 pandemic is not only costing the lives of tens of thousands of people all around the world, but it's also causing harm to the mental health of millions. Even before coronavirus, the human population was already in the midst of a mental health crisis. And it's safe to say that this pandemic will only worsen it. According to a recent report published in The Lancet, the mental health effects of the pandemic could quote unquote exceed the consequences of the 2019 nCoV epidemic itself. Long periods of isolation, lack of job security, loss of loved ones, financial uncertainty, fear and anxiety related to the pandemic, along with the everyday little stresses of our new normal, are stacking up against our well being and accelerating the mental health crisis more than ever. And that's why it's important that we take strong measures to protect our mental health. As Ariana Huffington points out, just as we have had to make drastic changes to our lives to stop the spread of the virus, we need to take urgent steps to safeguard our mental health too. Many people, in their pursuit to navigate in the new normal, are unfortunately reaching for quick fixes that will only further worsen their mental and physical health. Consumption of alcohol, cannabis, tobacco, and comfort foods such as Oreos, goldfish crackers, and chocolate chip cookies has massively increased. In addition, people are becoming less willing to exercise and or become physically active. These are all bad signs. It's good that the conversations around mental health have been happening for quite some time, and a good portion of people are aware of how this pandemic might deepen certain mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and addiction. We are fortunate to live in an era where an abundance of information is accessible to us and where we can devise strategies and come up with potent solutions for ourselves and our loved ones to respond to stress and anxiety and overcome the challenges that come up due to the new normal. We can all take certain steps to manage our negative emotions. We can let go of our self judgment tendencies when we think that we might be overreacting to certain situations. We can focus on deep breathing when we feel panic and overwhelm. We can limit our news and social media intake. We can meditate or pour out our worries in a journal and get in touch with the stillness inside. Like we are stocking essential supplies in our homes, we must also build our inner reserves. We can transform this crisis into an opportunity to strengthen our inner fortress and build mental resilience. We can choose the path of personal expansion and self renewal and commit to sharpening our axe. We can work through our fears and develop strategies to navigate them. Preparation is the key to victory. Now is a good time to perform the stoic exercise of premeditatio malorum and pinpoint things that could go wrong and the losses that we may need to deal with in the future. The unexpected blows of fortune can be brutal and immensely painful, which is the exact reason why a wise person contemplates on them beforehand. When we train ourselves in advance, we prepare ourselves to face anything that may happen and work towards solving problems beforehand so that we don't encounter them later on. This builds confidence and fortifies self-reliance. In simple words, we must hope for the best but also prepare for the worst. We can use this crisis to purify and refine ourselves, to let our bad habits and behaviors wither away, and instead focus on becoming stronger and wiser and a better version of ourselves. We can choose to reset our lives and work towards establishing ourselves in the new world. As the novelist Arundhati Roy writes in the Financial Times, historically pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or we can walk through lightly, with little luggage, ready to imagine another world, and ready to fight for it. It's time for the Gratitude Attitude segment, where I talk about things that I feel grateful for, things that add immense value to my life. This week, I'm grateful for a documentary film that I watched a few days back as part of the Karma Yogi Sharpen Your Axe Challenge. It's called Before the Flood and features Leonardo DiCaprio. Here's a brief description of the film from its website beforetheflood.com. If you could know the truth about the threat of climate change, would you want to know? Before the Flood, presented by National Geographic, features Leonardo DiCaprio on a journey as a United Nations messenger of peace, traveling to 5 continents and the Arctic to witness climate change firsthand. He goes on expeditions with scientists uncovering the reality of climate change and meets with political leaders fighting against inaction. He also discovers a calculated disinformation campaign orchestrated by powerful special interests working to confuse the public about the urgency of the growing climate crisis. With unprecedented access to thought leaders around the world, DiCaprio searches for hope in a rising tide of catastrophic news. From Academy Award winning filmmaker Fisher Stevens, an Academy Award winning actor, environmental activist, and UN Messenger of Peace, Leonardo DiCaprio, Before the Flood presents a riveting account of the dramatic changes now occurring around the world due to climate change, as well as the actions we as individuals and as a society can take to prevent the disruption of life on our planet. Beyond the steps we can take as individuals, the film urges viewers to push their elected officials in supporting the use of alternative energy sources such as solar and wind power. We need everyone to demand bold action from their political leaders and to elect representatives who have their best interests at heart, not the interests of corporations, to perpetuate a cycle of greed and destruction, says DiCaprio. This documentary shows how interconnected the fate of all humanity is, but also the power we all possess as individuals to build a better future for our planet. This film left quite an impact on me. It kind of conjured up the same feelings that I felt when I watched documentaries such as Food Inc. and Forks Over Knives, and when I read certain portions of Sapiens. How we humans are doing things that are ruining this beautiful planet of ours, harming other beings on the planet, and in this process, sabotaging the future of our species as well. I'm sure you would have read or at least be familiar of a fake letter claiming to share Bill Gates' thoughts on the COVID-19 crisis that has been doing the rounds lately. And while it has received a polarized response from several people online, there are a few important reminders that we all must internalize. We are all equal. We are all connected. Our health is precious. Life is short. Our true work is not our job. We must keep our ego in check. I think all these things apply to the global warming and climate change crisis as well. With respect to this, I wrote a short message to my friends at the Darren Daily community last week, and I feel the urge to share it with you as well. We have to take care of ourselves, but we have to take care of the planet and other fellow human beings as well. It's time to think global, not local, to think big, not small. We have to take charge and be responsible global citizens. I think it's best that we don't identify ourselves with respect to our nationality, our culture, or whatever. We're all humans. We're all the same species. Money, power, prestige, all these things are transient. At the end, we're all passengers in this journey of life. Nature is a great equalizer. In the end, it's about doing our best, doing the right thing, and working for the right causes. The rest doesn't matter. I'll add a link to the website of this documentary film in the show notes. It's available to stream on Disney Plus. I highly recommend it. It's time to wrap up this episode. I would like to give special thanks to my good friend and patron, Stefan Josef Hock, I hope I pronounced it correctly, from Austria, who has provided his constant support as a patron for the past 6 months at Patreon. I really appreciate your kindness and contribution, Stefan. Thanks so much. I'll be releasing another private podcast this week, and it's accessible exclusively to my members at Patreon. We're all facing stormy and turbulent times, and this pandemic has become nothing short of a war. So, in this private podcast, I'll be discussing some effective ways to thrive in this war and get to the other side as a victor. If you'd like to check it out, you can go to patreon.com/Parth Sahani and become my patron there. If you'd like to ask me a question or have any comments or suggestions, write an email or send a voice memo to podcast@thekarmayogi.blog. I would really be grateful if you could leave an honest rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or any other podcasting app, because this will help others discover this show, and I'll be able to inspire more people and spread my message and convey meaningful information and positivity in these uncertain and challenging times to a bigger audience. Also, I'd encourage you to come join me for the Karma Yogi Sharpen Your Axe Challenge. It will help you elevate your interior empires, bring a positive transformation in yourself and your life, and have more quote-unquote alive time as you stay indoors in this global crisis. What's more important is that 20% of all proceeds will be given to first responder charities such as Feeding America, who are doing important work right now. Lastly, if you want even more resources to create an extraordinary life and become a better version of yourself every day, plus some personal insights and updates, along with monthly book recommendations from me that I only share in email, come visit my website at thekarmayogi.blog and make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter. Also, when you sign up, you'll get my beautiful e-guide, Becoming a Karma Yogi, a quick and essential guide to revolutionize your life for free. Of course, you won't receive any spam and you can unsubscribe anytime. So take care of yourself. I hope you are staying indoors and staying safe. Remember, this is a time to be a hero, so try to show up as the best version of yourself as much as possible. Focus on your actions and let go of the outcomes, because success is a journey, not a destination, and we need to keep working towards it every single day. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.